I love it when the person claps back.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when they are social media celebrity or whatever. They have a lot of followers or whatever.
Yeah.
They take the time to be like, hang on a second. And they clap back.
Yeah.
Love it.
But when they do it in a very tactful way. There's one that stood out to me the most where I've seen a clapback was from Tabitha Brown to Wendy Williams. When Wendy Williams tries to down her for retirement, her like this.
Yes.
Her clapback was so like very elegant, very mature, very ladylike. She told her off. Listen, I love Wendy Williams too, but told her off like in a very elegant way.
Tabitha, she has a way with, very,
words.
very good. She, I love it. She has a way of doing things that
She could tell you off.
she can tell you off, but it's very
Southern Bellish, like.
soft-ish.
Or direct. So what do my friends call it? Nice, nasty.
Yes.
Yeah. Because but you get the
You
point.
get the point. That's what it is. So you getting the point. I don't have to curse you out. I don't have to get down to the gutter with you, but you gonna understand what I'm saying, and I'm gonna stand on business.
Exactly.
Now, the one problem, like I just sat there and told you guys that I do enjoy social media, but there's many problems. So here's this example, this analogy of school, right?
Okay.
When you're in school, you've got the folks that are super duper smart, and then remember you was in how do they say back in our day when they used to have you categorized by your classes based on your abilities, right? So you have your special ed, you have your folks that are like AP because they done went to the and then you have the folks that are just buzzing along. Right?
Yeah.
With social media, we're all lumped together. Right, so that's why you get posts and people could post something, and you got someone who might have been in special ed, and they don't understand what was posted, so now they want to tear it down. And then equally, you have people that are super intellectual, but maybe lack common sense, so they can't understand. So the problem is you got people from all backgrounds, and we're just lumped together.
Welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Auntie's podcast,
Where we keep it real, raw, and relatable.
While sharing our opinions and experiences.
and feelings.
On a variety of topics, with the hope that it can bring you joy. There's so much negativity in the world. We try to bring joy, bring laughter, but also share our wisdom, share our understanding of certain situations with the hopes that maybe some of the pitfalls and the things that we've gone through that you don't have to go through.
Yes.
So yeah.
Absolutely. So
What we talking about?
we getting into social media platforms. Is there too much being shared out there on social media? How is it impacting your personal lives, your relationships? Let's dig in, ladies. What are your thoughts around the social media platform? Is it a means to an end?
I'm still trying to expose myself more to the social media platforms. I'm more of a behind the scenes surfer. Sorry, I am. I'll admit
Don't
to it.
apologize. You don't nobody up in your business.
Some days I get up and I don't have a problem getting on or taking a picture or doing a video, and then there's other times I just don't want to be seen. So the podcast has truly opened my eyes and opened that door of myself to you guys. Trust me, it's work in progress.
Really on that. I think I think it's the new norm for many. I think that social media, some folks will say that it's so negative. I think some of the boomers and older people that don't necessarily use it as often as the younger folks use it, I think those would be the ones that would be like, it's too much. It's too much out there. And yes, rightfully so. There are certain things that are shared and exposed, and one might deem it to be too much. However, I think that there are some benefits. I always try to look for the positivity in things.
Yeah, okay.
Because if you don't share things, then how will people know about it?
Yeah.
And whatever you're going through, chances are there could be someone else that's going through the same thing that can lend some support and some help. So I love to go into the comments because you always see people on both sides of the spectrum like, why are you sharing that? You should do this. And then other people saying, laughing. then another group of people that are tearing that person person down for whatever they shared.
And that's what I don't like.
I was gonna say
You're never gonna stop
That's what I
it.
think.
It won't go away.
it won't go away, but I just don't know why people got to be ugly. But you know what? At the same time, they're gonna be ugly anywhere. So whether it be on a social media platform, whether it be walking down the street, wherever it's gonna be, if people are ugly, they are just ugly. I find them to be cowards when they're behind the social media platforms. You know, where I come into, listen, I'm not on social media a lot either. It is a means to an end for certain things and reasons, because if you're doing a public platform like what we're doing, it's a necessary thing. If you have businesses, it becomes a necessary thing. I have an issue where people have their freaking arguments on social media.
Yes.
Listen, don't go out there and post, and tag the person, you punk ass, or you whatever. Go to that person, say it to their face. Are you scared to say it to their face? You scared you're going to get punched in the mouth for saying it to their face that you got to put it on social media? So it's like, and I'm not trying to be one of those naysayers either, because listen, I get some laughter out of social media. I get some knowledge out of social media. There are, like you said, there are positive sides to social media. I just don't like the side where you are being either a bully behind a keyboard, or feel like you have to take out your issues with another individual on social media. What does that get you?
What I don't like more than anything else is if you're going to go and look at people on social media and you don't like the content, stop following them.
Hello.
Stop looking at their content.
You're in
Find
control of
something
what
else to
you're
look-
in
Exactly.
control of what you're consuming, right? So stop following them.
Exactly.
I think those are the folks. Everyone, okay, so two things, right? So at first, I'm on social media. I think it's an expression of creativity. I like to be creative. There's certain platforms that I'm more creative on than others, but I enjoy it. And I'll be even selfish to say I enjoy it more when I see people of Black people that are doing phenomenal things that I would not have been privy to had they not showed it. And when I'm talking about, like, if I go through my TikTok and I see Black engineers, Black creators, and not just creators, I'm talking about people that are creators, yes, but also people that are designers. And I'm not just talking about designing clothes. I'm talking about interior design, doctors, lawyers, cartoonists. I love to see. I wouldn't be exposed to it had I not.
Yeah, that's exposure for good to me. Yeah. I enjoy that as well. I don't know if that's a term, but it's one that just created exposure for good.
Yes. Absolutely. The negative thing, now, I want to touch on that. So I think, to your point, there are some people that don't have, I always say this, but they don't really have a life. They really don't have friends. So, and half the time they're like, I call them keyboard warriors, where they just want to type some negative stuff because something that they saw triggered them. So when you see a person, maybe a woman's dressed, has an outfit on, maybe it's super creative, and you had some other people are tearing her down, they don't have that creativity.
They're keyboard punks. They know damn warrior.
Well, because it's not cool. It's not. But they wouldn't say that thing to that.
Because they're a punk.
Right? So they can hide behind.
Yes.
The thing with social media, you could be anything you want to be.
Absolutely.
And people sometimes, they believe it. And so it affords them that outlet. Whereas in life, to your point, they're punk. They really won't say the things to that person, right? But because you're hiding behind a phone, a computer screen, an algorithm where you can say something and go away real quick and probably never have to see that post again unless that person engages with what you said. They're so quick to say, that's ugly, you're this, you're that, or that you didn't eat with that outfit.
Get a fucking life. Just get a fucking life.
What I love with those things, when the rebuttal, the people that come back and support the person and big the person. They'll be like, I love to. I too. I watch the comments and the debates in the comments too, and I love to hear the people that's championing and trying to lift that person, person that tried to tear them down.
Absolutely, and I even love it too. And even though some, person in public relations would say, "Nah, girl, you off," but
right.
I in Threads there was recently a post, and I laughed to myself with this one. But this guy had put a post, and he wanted to know. He put up a post. Let's say 25 plus 75. Or maybe 25 plus 74. Let's do that. And he says, I would just want to know what goes on in your head. Can you guys explain to me from a not psychological perspective, but just your thought process on how you would compute this equation, right? Like, how would you do it?
Right.
I just want to know the behind the scenes. How do you add that up, right? Okay. So it was so crazy. Everyone was saying, I take, I said 25 plus 74, right? So I take, the 4 and the 5, and that's 9, and that's 7, and that's how they did it, right? everybody, and some people say, oh no, I round up, right? So I do 30 and then I subtract 5 and all this, There's this one guy, he was like, that's stupid. That's stupid. It's 99. You should know that if you had a brain. And I was just like,
that wasn't the question.
That wasn't the question. And then people were like, sir, I'm glad that you have the mathematical aptitude. But you failed in reading and comprehension. And he doubled down. He was like, no, you didn't. I'm like, you really don't get what the question was. But that's my point. It's like you get people that get so riled up and they want to, I got to get my point across. I just want to get what they're failing to realize the context of things.
Right.
Some people want to feel important.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I think some people really want to feel important.
I was going to make a point. Oh, so in addition to, you talk about all of us being lumped together. So I think about that too, when people reshare certain things without doing their own homework and making sure that it's factual what they're resharing and they're just posted just to repost.
Posting.
Especially when someone dies or they didn't die. They done kills off Jaleel White forever on TikTok.
Really?
Man,
Jamie Foxx.
I mean, and you didn't even they'll kill off anybody.
Yeah.
Unalive. I don't know. I don't want us to get, but and I'm like, did you even do the research? He's alive. What's wrong with you?
Poor Jaleel.
It drives me crazy, but you're right. People just share without, you know what? There's too much of that.
Yeah.
There's too much of that. Where you take a post that anyone could have written and without you doing your own due diligence and research to determine whether it's factual or not, you share it. And that's how rumors start.
Yeah.
Yep.
And bad publicity on people that she said this, or taking a little blurb that maybe a celebrity said or anybody.
Yeah.
And to get out of context and people just run with it.
Yeah.
And it drives me, it's like, come on.
They'll like something, they'll like something and didn't even read the context, and then when somebody call them and they go, oh, I didn't know that's what it meant. And then they go, I like it because you didn't read it.
Yeah.
You don't really support that, but yet you liking it because you didn't really read what it was or who the person who posted it. Like,
right.
Look at that stuff. So listen, I'm not against social media. I think there is a lot of good, like you said, with social media. It is of the times right now. It's not going anywhere. So I don't know, Joe, you was going to say something.
It just gets to a point where you can't believe 85% of the stuff that you actually posted online.
I was going to say that too. And that, so it's two sides of that, right? So either you can't believe it because some of it is not 100% true, or you don't know how the person got to that point. All you know is the end point. You don't know the stages in between, and you think you can automatically get there without doing, you don't know the work they did to do that. So there's two sides of that. But I definitely think there's a lot out there that the three of us, but that some people are believing and don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Or that it's probably not true.
It's crazy. Why do you think people feel the need to post anything at all? Do you think it's for attention? Do you think it's for validation? Do you think it's for venting?
It can be.
Or just for clout?
All of that to me.
Yeah.
I think people who use the platforms of what the platforms should be used for. Well, I shouldn't say that because people use it for however they want to use it, right? That's out there. But for people who use it for good, people who use it to promote their business, people who use it to get their creativity out there, I think those are all good things. But I think if you get stuck into the thing of, it goes back to a conversation we had about validation. If you're doing it to be validated, what does that say about you as a person?
That's right.
And what is missing in your life that you need to count how many likes you get on social media?
That's right. That's right.
So it's just a question.
And the thing with that too is like so many things on social media can be fabricated. Even the likes, even your followers. Like, people pay for that. You know? So you can have people that have 100,000 followers, 20,000 followers, and then you look at their engagement when they post something, they got 5 likes or 3 people comment. That's because those followers are fake. Bots, So, but people, and they did that for a variety of different reasons. But some of it's to feel important. Some of it's to get brand deals way back when. Even though I think the brands are more smarter now, they know that follow account don't mean nothing on an engagement piece, right? But you get people that don't understand the business behind it.
Yeah.
So they said, oh no, this person has X amount of followers, so they must be doing something. They're a mover and shaker. And that is not necessarily
They don't understand the algorithm, so
exactly. It's crazy. It's nuts. I think that there are people, listen, like I said, people post for their creativity. I think that, to your point, if you don't like something, just keep scrolling. It's so simple. You know, you don't like something, just scroll off of it.
Why go negative or say something negative to tear that person down? If you don't like what they're posting, move on.
It's so simple. But
Don't bring that shit to my page. But you know that now.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me, oh, I don't want them to tag me in a post because I don't want everybody to see me in that post, whatever. I said, if they're not friends with that person, they're not going to see it. So they got to have that. People don't understand. They really don't understand sometimes how it works. It's like, if you don't want to be posted, or don't take pictures because your friends are going to post you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there should be some type of, I guess, etiquette in terms of when you're posting and tagging people. And I think that's why they added the thing to, you can check whether you can be tagged in that post. Because people would just post and stuff, and they were like, and sometimes it wasn't the most flattering post that they posted.
They look good. Other people didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe that was intentional. You know? So
yeah, you never know.
You never know. Has there been anything you ever posted and regretted and wanted to, and maybe have taken down?
I think back when I was more active on Facebook, I wouldn't say I regretted it. Like, I would put up they called their posts, but they would call, what are your thoughts? What if, I forget, this is just go show you, I ain't been on Facebook in so long, child. But whatever it says, it's a post, but you can just put your thoughts or right. So that's right. Yeah. Right. So this is going back more than 10 years. Like, Facebook has the memory, so it'll show you whatever you posted on during that time. So I won't say I regretted it, but I would say, depending on whatever thought I had and I put out there, it would cause me to think now and be like, girl, what
was you doing?
Well, what was you thinking? You know, that moment, right? But then equally, like I said, there's many posts that the memory showed me that I'm like, that's on, that's still trends today, that tracks today, right? So I don't think there's anything that I put out that I'm trying to think that I actually regretted putting out. Because by the time I get to posting, half the time it's like, this is who I don't care. Yeah. You know, whatever I'm doing, I try to do it in a positive light. And I feel like it's going to touch somebody in a way that's going to be positive. Now, people have something negative to say. I got some clapback, so I don't worry about that. And I'm very confident in myself, so it's very hard to tell me, oh, you ugly, you this and that. I don't believe in none of that because I know I'm not. Right. And I don't need anybody. I don't need that validation, right?
Have you had the clapback?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about it.
The clapback?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, when people say, even when they talked about us, you know.
I know we had some.
Yeah, even when they say things with us, like I have no problem clapping back because half the time the folks that say something negative, they're miserable in their lives.
Yes.
You know, and I'm not. So if I say something that's going to trigger you or you feel a certain kind of way, if I dress a certain kind of way or whatever, I am so confident within myself and my capabilities and who I am as a person. There's nothing you can say that's going to make me feel like, oh, I got to go into a show and go cry. And the main reason is because I don't know you. So I don't know you, so
and you don't
know me. So why would I take your opinion and hold it as value? I don't know you. It'll be hard, you know what I'm saying? That's the main thing, is like those people, and maybe it's my mental fortitude and what I've got going on within me, but if someone says something negative to you, it's like, okay, because I don't hold it as value.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You're a stranger. You're a nobody to me.
You ain't paying my bills. I think that back to you ain't paying my bills.
I don't, you know, but the funny thing, a lot of people get very angry. Yeah. And they hold on to that. And I just say I hope that they can feel more confidence and validate themselves, that they don't have to be so worried about what's going on with those outside forces.
I've actually seen posts where somebody was saying that why do they think I'm ugly? Why do they make these bad comments about me? And then some people were jumping in and say, you know, they were trying to, you know, dig her up and tell her, you know, don't worry about these people. But some people really are affected when people put their comments in their posts. Yes. So we hope that if nothing you can take from this today is that don't feed into those comments. You know, they're negative. You can easily delete them. You can go to ChatGPT and find a clapback statement and if you feed
if you don't got one of your own and you feel like you want to fight, then but the main thing is try not to let those things. Just remember that those folks on the other side, they don't know you. Now,
no value to your life.
I will say this: some of them actually do know you, and they want to tear you down. So when you know that, you can see someone who has like a fictitious picture as their profile. Behind the scenes, they may have created that so that they can try to say something negative about you to tear you down. Now, you got to be careful. Everyone has snakes within their garden, right? So you just got to be careful of the people that you keep around you, because they can big you up in your face, but especially as you're climbing, they secretly are talking mess, and they don't like you.
And talk about you like a dog.
And if they are in your comments behind some fictitious, you can figure out who they are. They're going to say something
it's going to slip
that they only you guys know about. So you'll figure them out pretty easily.
Then when you see them, just punch them in the mouth. I'm just joking. Don't do that. I'm just joking. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Remove them from your.
They should no longer have access to you. The only access they should then
block
have. Whatever. You could block them. They could always create something else.
And I'll just keep blocking. Like, listen, at the end of the day, I'm in control of my page. I'm in control of who I engage with. Like, I'm so of the, and I've said this on many episodes before, you are in control of you.
That's right.
How you engage and interact with certain people and things in your life. And you own that, if nothing else. So know that you own that. You just block them. Keep them low.
I just try to look at it like this. If you're not bold enough to say it to my face, because you'll know you get that ass whipping, I'm not going to pay you no more.
That too, don't ignore us.
Your thoughts and your feelings don't mean shit to me. Yeah, it's how I feel.
That's what the swiping is for as well. Yeah,
that's right. I know that there are some people that get torn down by the comments, and there's bullies out there. There's people that's going to say the wildest things, and I always say, you say the wildest things, and then sometimes, you gotta look. Even with our situation, we had somebody that said something negative about us, and I go to look at the person's profile. I'm like, dude,
like, really? You should really think before you comment. Okay,
really? Okay. All right, this is the most excitement you got all your life. So I listen. And what I try to do now that I'm a little bit more mature, I try not to be so nasty with my mouth in the clapback. So I do it in tears. I try to be nice with it. Then you come back again, I'll try to go up another level. And then depending on my mood and whatever, I may just take it to hell. So, but I really try to dose out the response. It's still a clapback, but it's more nice, nasty, like
nice
tab. I try. But if you keep going, then I'm going to keep going. And I promise you, I'm going to take this in place that you will never know. And then now you're probably going to try to find me and do something.
I'm not fully matured yet. But thank God I haven't had a situation where I've had to really clap back at somebody yet.
I guess they know that. No, I haven't had anything like that. I stay away from it. I don't like to post. Like, I don't. You got an issue with somebody. You got an issue in your life. Like, solving it on social media to me is not the answer.
Exactly.
It's just not the answer. I don't need to be putting out subliminals out there or hoping that the person see it, because they may not see it. So you can post out them subs for no damn reason, wasting your time and energy there when you can go and direct it to the actual person you want to direct it to.
Exactly.
And not hope and pray they see it and then say something. Now you can have an argument on social media. Have it in person.
I'm not arguing on social media, especially with nobody I don't know.
But I'm sorry, the people do with people that they do know.
I'm not doing that.
Like that's all that going back and forth from Naruto.
But when they do that, they're trying to embarrass.
You're only embarrassing yourself to me. You're airing all your dirty laundry for no damn reason. So
that's what it is. You really just embarrassing people.
Yep.
That's my thought.
What are your thoughts on social media and relationships? Do you think the social media have an impact on relationships and cause disruption?
It shouldn't, but I think it does, because you have either one or both that don't like sharing their personal information on social media, so they both choose not to share. But then you have the majority of the couples where one doesn't want to share, where another one does. And then there is a debate back and forth on, you don't love me enough because you don't want to share, or why you hide me. And it just gets into a whole discussion on stupid stuff. Yeah, pretty much.
It can. I think I'm looking at it from a different perspective though, because my husband, he doesn't get on, like, he's not posting. He doesn't post as much as me.
Yeah.
But we never have those issues, right?
Yeah.
because he knows I'm a post and I'm gonna say and do whatever I want. And he's okay with it.
And it's not affecting y'all in any way. It shouldn't. So
He doesn't. We don't get arguments like that. But I do see from a different perspective how people can look at relationships and then feel like they're comparing what they see. And you just don't know what those people are doing.
Right.
You can have there was a recent couple that I follow on social media, and I followed the girl first. She's a designer. I think she's younger. She just turned 40, but she's been very successful in building her company, multi-million-dollar company, doing really well for herself. So they were definitely together for a couple of years, I think 2 or 3 years, and they recently no longer together. And it was a big thing where they were the fallout. Apparently he cheated or whatever have you, and she was like, nah. And it's interesting because like the things when you see them together, because they started to build a brand together.
Okay.
Even though he's successful too, but I always felt like his temperament and his ability to like pop off was a bit much.
Okay.
But I also thought, there was a maturity thing there, right?
Okay.
So whatever. But people were looking at like, oh my gosh, goals, this, goals, that. And I listen, you know me, I don't ever look at nobody other couple for the damn goals. But because you don't know, and here's a prime example, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I will applaud people that look good together and they're building an empire together. And I love to see that. But I will never say those are goals. So I don't know. I think it causes other folks to say, I want that. Or you know how you always say with Sierra and Russell, like, oh Lord, what's the prayer Sierra used to get him, and I think that's funny and it's fun and all in jest. Right. But I think people use what they see and they may forget or just
that these are real people.
These are real people
go through real
situations,
everyday stuff like we do,
and they don't necessarily share that, and they don't have.
They don't have to. They share. I was gonna say they don't have to, right? If they want to share all the good, it's up to you. What you take from that, like you can't go and say, oh, they're the perfect couple. You never see them arguing and fighting and
you don't know what's going on behind them.
They only showing you what they want you to see.
That's correct.
That is a mistake I think people are making. That they taking everything that's on social media for face value, and you cannot do that. Did she find out he was cheating on social media?
She did. And then they put it. She never said anything. He put it out there and was like, she went on my phone and saw that I was cheating. And I felt for her because she's a girl's girl for sure. And from what I can tell about her, and I felt like, dang, I just like to see people happy, and she seemed happy, and this happened, and she also was like, okay, I'm not gonna stand for it, so she left, and then he's now still professing his love and trying to get her back, and I just don't think it's gonna work. But I think with that whole scenario, and I'm just giving one particular scenario, there was so many people. See, when you put it out there, and then there was so many people getting on him, well, you shouldn't have did this, and you shouldn't, and then what made it worse in my eyes was he was clapping back at those people, said, oh, I'm a man, I made a mistake, whatever, but then he would clap back in a way and say certain things that it's like, you're saying sorry,
but you
don't realize the magnitude of what happened.
If you're defending your actions, are you really sorry for the actions?
He's not
really sorry.
He didn't get it yet. So I was like, I want him to get it. You know what I mean? And then he may not probably get her back because she's, obviously doing her thing. But it's like when you doubling down on something where you just need to, hey, maybe take a beat off social.
Yeah,
maybe take a beat.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And step back and look at everything that's happened.
Just step back and work on you. Yeah. But that's the thing. People, when you live your lives on it, it becomes a little challenging because people also feel like they are owed something. Like people were really getting on, like because they shared so much.
I think
people feel like.
But what about the everyday person, right? So the everyday person that's on social media, it may not be.
What do you mean everyday?
People who are not celebrities or have like influencers and stuff like that. There's just the people who are on social media living their everyday lives, whatever. We're not playing James. We're just not. Influencers or in the spotlight in that way, right?
Yes, I get it.
So I feel like, you can be, people can cause issues. So like, for instance, an example would be, okay, and people know you're a couple.
Okay.
All your people are following you. Y'all following each other, blah, blah, blah. One person may be more social out there in the life than the other person is. So they're getting pictures with other people. Let's say a guy getting pictures with his female friends, and they see like, you got a lot of pictures with your female friends. What about your girlfriend that you with? You know, that can cause some issues. Whether, you know, the girlfriend is okay with it because, listen, she's not out there, or the guy, he or she is not out there, and they're not on social media like that anyways, and they don't post pictures and stuff like that anyways. They keep they hold themselves close to the chest or whatever. But meanwhile, the other person's out there, and people can put some freaking fuel under the fire that ain't even there.
People do it all the time. And that's why I think as couples, you just have to really be mindful of what you are putting out there. And also you have to have again, mental fortitude is one thing, but you have to have thick skin, because people will say things, they'll try to stir the boat. I've seen it happen with another celebrity couple that before they were celebrity couples, I don't want to name any names purposefully, I'm not, but we all follow these people, we all see these people. This person now has a budding career in acting, and I've seen it where his wife was doing promoting a thing that she was going to go to. You know how they do events, right? So she was promoting it. And she went live with the people that were collaboration, and there were people under her in the comments, in the chat, that were saying the most outrageous things. Even me, so I almost got jumped into the center. Like, I was good. Hey, fucking, you know, leave her alone. You know, but I had to stop myself because it's like, because you. And the reason why I felt that way is because I have been following for several years, and I've seen the growth that they had. Right. And it's like, why are you knew the people that were in the chat were just trying to be malicious. And what I will say this, you can tell that she saw it, but she wouldn't give anything to it.
Sometimes it's best.
And there were other people that were clapping back on her behalf. And but the person, whoever it was, they were relentless. And I felt that whoever owned they definitely were jealous. Oh, for sure. They definitely were jealous. And I felt that whoever owned the actual, because you know when you go behind the page, they should have just blocked it. But also too, we have to understand that sometimes there's teams that can help do that, and some people don't necessarily have the teams to help work that out. So because they didn't block it, they just kept going on and on and on. So with stuff like that, people are jealous. Some people are just miserable, and they just want to start stuff. And you just they want to be starting something.
But
which makes no sense to me.
Something, you gotta be starting something. But even on that same vein, the example that I gave, do you think you want to get under, stuck in the middle. Anyways, so the person that's out there socializing and living that, do you think they have some responsibility in making sure that, I may be taking pictures with all my friends and my female friends, I need to make sure that this don't look sus, where my person at home could think something other than what it actually is.
There's a responsibility there. Yes, there definitely is, right? Because people, so definitely, and then you have to,
because you have those people that's going to start, they'll try nonsense that ain't even there. But that person needs to be mindful of the way they're presenting themselves, so that it doesn't happen.
But they also have to be mindful about the person that they got together with.
I was going to say that too, because the person
because if you know all the time that this is how this person was, that they always want to be out there, you have to be willing and understanding of the fact that this is what your partner does. And if he does or she makes it big, you need to understand what that entails and what's going to come behind it. And if you can't handle that,
then I think it's both parts. You have to be confident in what, until something is brewing, you have to take it for what it is. Like, so if nothing's really happening, nothing's going down, for you to make it something that's not even there, you're going to cause a ruckus in your relationship. Because one, you should have a conversation with the person and say, listen, I understand this is your life or whatever. I just want you to be thinking about me.
Be respectful,
when you're out there. I'm not telling you not to, but think about us in the situations or whatever have you. And I'm gonna be strong on my side and not feed into everything.
Exactly.
That's correct. What's the one thing you wish people would stop posting about?
I haven't thought about that.
You know, like the question.
Just the arguments, like the constant back and forth.
I agree with that.
There's not nothing possible as something where somebody can be inspired about it, or if it's a funny thing and the both of y'all are in agreement with it and you post it, just be mindful of how you're posting it.
Sympathy posts. Looking for sympathy.
Cut it
out. Oh my gosh. You don't see nothing from these people until they in a situation where to me, and it's just my perception, I could be completely off.
Okay.
They're in the hospital. They're on their way to the hospital. They're in the hospital bed. They're in
person who died in the coffin.
Yeah.
When I see that really, like, why would you do that?
And that's just, I mean, there are other sympathy posts, but that's when it's come to mind because I see a lot of that from certain people. But it's like,
They're
you don't,
crying. They're drowning out like a wounded puppy.
why are you on here crying? Why are you on here crying?
Write in your journal.
I don't know. Sorry if I'm coming off mean and unsympathetic, but go, it's okay, post. It's sympathy post.
No, I feel you on it because
You got to be careful of that, though. I don't mean to cut you off, but somebody who's coming on there crying, and that may be a cry for help, but
That's what I'm
you
going,
should be able to know whether or not it's a true cry for help.
And that's
or
what
you
I'm
just-
talking about. I can tell it is. I'm not talking about people that I don't know.
Okay.
This is coming from a place of people that I do know.
Okay.
And I know it's just sympathy post.
sometimes
Okay.
it's too much. It's just like that's all you got to give.
That's what I'm saying. You don't
Yeah,
see
too
them
much.
until they posting something about
That's
something that they looking for sympathy for.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and listen, there are people that do the woe is me, and I understand there are people that do come on there and they're going through stuff and they're like, they're crying and sometimes it's just to get it out. Sometimes especially if they have followers, there might be some people that can help them. But
So those are people I probably don't know.
But in your case, I don't know who you're talking about, but I understand when you just go online and all you see, because I actually knew someone too that all you go online, all they ever did was talk about God, this is going on, and it got to the point where it's like, okay, I understand. I would send little DMs like of words of encouragement, but every day it becomes a lot. So this actually speaks to the next question I have, which is, do you ever feel like you have to block or unfollow or mute someone for a period of time?
So yeah,
I've done it. I've done that for sure.
I haven't gotten to a point where I've had to actually block somebody, but that just goes back to me just not following or looking at their stuff.
Yeah, I know. It could be family members. It could be all of it goes back to me protecting my energy.
I was gonna say exactly.
Right. So if I feel like if I'm in a bad spot, I don't want to deal with your shit, because I'm dealing with my shit, right? So, and that may be selfish, but unfortunately, I just have to be selfish because I got to take care of me.
Exactly.
So, and that's what I don't understand.
I'll mute them.
Yeah. But you have people that will complain, like, why is this person doing this? Why is this person doing that? Why are you following them? Answer that question.
Well, that's the thing too. So when you, it's funny that you say that. Because a lot of times I know for a fact, because I do some wild stuff sometimes, right? But I don't think it's wild because it's just me being creative and that's who I am. And I also made a promise to myself because I've got more years behind me than ahead of me. I'm going to do every damn thing I want to do in this lifetime.
Okay.
So if it brings me joy, I'm going to do it, right? And whether it's progresses and it does well or fails, I don't care. I can say that I did it. So I know that there are people that will look at what I'm doing and like, what the hell is she doing now? What is she? So you, especially for other creatives out there that, want to explore their creative side and do different things, you can't not let that deter you. You just got to go for it.
Yeah.
To your point, if they're not interested, there's a thing called
Move on. Yes.
Don't even follow that.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
People were like, even in like group chat things, or I'm talking about texting group chats, they were like, oh, I'm so tired of these people. They just every day. Just remove yourself from the chat. It's like very simple things to do. It's not that hard. Like if you
Everybody makes things more complicated.
You know what it is? It's because they're lying. They just want to keep being nosy and keep watching.
Oh, people definitely want to be nosy.
But they complain at the same
And they
time.
complain.
Don't do that. pick your side.
Do you think, is it possible to be real online, like real without giving too much of yourself away?
You can.
I think you can. I think you can.
There's the balance.
Yeah.
There's a balance there.
And I think also there's different platforms that appreciate that more than others. So,
absolutely.
in my opinion, I feel like TikTok, you could be super duper real.
Yeah.
Right?
And that was a big debate. That was a big debate.
In Instagram.
Right.
Instagram, you got to be prim and proper.
Yeah.
And man,
I don't think you can, but it set the precedence for that.
Yeah.
For the time it has been out,
Yeah.
everybody wants to show good on Instagram. Where TikTok, people being very vulnerable, very real, and as a result, we're making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people want to see the real. They don't want to always see that prim and proper, right?
Yes.
So I mean, listen, I like TikTok because of that. I will admit I show up differently there than I do on Instagram.
It gives you the space to do that.
It gives me and not that, I think some people may argue and say, well, you're curbing yourself. But and there may be some truth to that. But I just show up different.
But you know what the platform is going to do for you, how you feel. But if you understand the platform and you're very into that, you're watching all the different things, so you know how you need to show up on this platform versus that platform, and what it's going to do in that regard. Because you're more apt to using social media than probably the both of us here, and what the benefits are behind and using it, or how you use it. The benefits. So you are going to show up differently for those reasons, not because, to me, not because you feel like, oh, I could be more comfortable on TikTok versus Instagram. It's what I know what the different platforms do for you.
They're completely you're absolutely right on that front. But also too, there's a level of freedom to a certain degree, right? Because on the TikTok, first of all, I got more followers, number one, than I do on Instagram. But I got more followers that don't know me versus on Instagram that do.
Okay.
Right. So and I'm not. It's just I can just do whatever. I can express my creativity.
Like those who know you, but see, if you did show, if you did show up on Instagram, I know you show up on TikTok. Those who know you, they're not gonna think twice about it.
But I guess I should say there's tiers of the knowing, right?
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's a difference. TikTok is, because there's people that's following you that you don't know, or they don't know you.
Yeah.
It's almost like they want to support whomever is coming on there because they know what that platform is about.
Yeah.
So if they see somebody trying to come up,
yes, definitely.
and it's felt.
And I feel like they do share more. Like they're far more authentic in some cases, because sometimes it is for a monetary gain.
Yeah.
And are they really using the product? Sometimes most, sometimes not. So, but I think there was one person I was following, and she does talk about how she did use one product before and was really behind it, but then now has since switched because found a better product. So people like that, I'm gonna probably believe more than somebody who says they use something and keep using it when they really are not.
Okay.
So do you feel like social media has increased anxiety or mental health issues in people?
More in kids, not with adults.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. The only reason why, because I think that there's too many people. So you got to think about the population that's using social media, and I think there's a lot of young adults, and what I mean by young adults, they can be from the teenagers up to their 20s and 30s, even so they're younger than us, right?
Okay.
And even in their 40s or 50s, like people, I don't know. Someone can say it's COVID, did something. I don't know what happened, but the mindset that folks have, there's that mental strength that just a lot of folks don't have. So they look for an outlet for social media. They're scrolling, they see certain things, their life, they start doing the comparison thing. My life is not like that. Oh, I don't have a girlfriend like that. I don't have a man that's willing to, with the big roses and the this and the that. And they start to be like, damn, and they start to feel bad about themselves. Or I'm not as successful as this person. Look what they're doing. Look what she has. Look, it's that comparison, and that is happening more. And it's not just the kids. It happens a lot in the kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just a different.
It happens a lot in the kids, but it definitely happens with adults too.
No, it does.
And
it's just we don't, as an adult, more adults don't really care about the backlash that we get versus the kids. They're looking at everything, and if I don't get a certain amount of likes, it hits them more.
For sure. But that definitely happens with it. So with adults, there's that inner kid within all of us.
Okay.
And there's some inner healing that just has to happen. Like the stuff, the trauma, whatever we experience as teenagers and young adults, or even a child, if it goes without being healed, you bring that stuff with you, right?
Okay.
So I still think that, yes, it's happening a lot with kids, but I think it's happening more than you think with adults. And I'm like, what is I see it, I hear the conversation. I was like, what is going on? Because they just haven't been healed. They're just too much comparison. It's too much. And it's like, if you just strip it away and just live your life, I think there's more inner work that they need to do outside of social media because they may be doing those same things without social, even within their own circles, that comparison thing. So I think it happens too much. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. understanding, I know our kids are older now, but if social media was around when our kids were younger, do you find that, at least I would have thought so anyway, that it was more important, like certain things you didn't tell your kids before certain times because of their ages, right? But with social media being what it is today, you have no time to wait. Like you got to be more forthcoming with your kids because they have the exposure there is far more reachable than it was before. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
See, it goes back to the conversation I had with you guys before. Talking about sex in my house growing up was taboo. So because of social media, how it was starting to develop as the kids were getting older, I had to share stuff with them.
Absolutely.
And me and my mom had a big blowout because she felt I was sharing too much with her at an early age. And I'm like, I have to share it with her now.
The streets
I
will teach you
can't
if you
hide
don't.
nothing from her because it's all out there exposed. And I want to make sure that she knows the right stuff and not just assume what she's hearing or what she's seeing is true.
Yeah, you gotta be on it, and you have to be because and you know you'll find some parents that, well, my kid is not on TikTok, my kid is not on this, and my kid's listen, let me tell you, maybe they're not, but their friend is, and then you don't know when they go have a play date, and then they're at the friend's house looking at these things, they get exposed to it.
Forget the play date.
You can't stop it. You can't stop. Right. You can't.
I hear my youngest one. She set up her. I think Instagram was really new at that time, but she set up her Instagram account, and that's why I said you can't have one before a certain age. Her cousin had one, but I think her cousin was like 2 years older than her, and I even felt that she shouldn't have one at that age either. And I found out about it because the way the technology works today, it'll get you connected some kind of way. And I was like, we had a conversation. You cannot have it, and so then we made an agreement. Only way you can have it is we can be friends. So it wasn't like that year, maybe a year or two later. We have to be friends, and don't be blocking stuff or whatever have you, because I'm going to find. So we had rules around that.
Okay.
So that was the reason why I let her have it at an early age, because she was, she agreed to
Your terms, yeah.
And I think I had to make her delete it one time, actually.
Wow.
Listen, that you cannot, as parents, and I know some parents out there, they're gonna, especially the younger ones, y'all gonna listen because y'all think y'all can. They don't know, and they won't. No, they're gonna.
No.
But
Them kids are more resourceful.
Homeschool with nobody even then. They're gonna figure it out. But they're gonna find out. Like you have to.
They have their own iPads. They have their own laptops. They're going to find out. So one other question, and I don't know, we could probably wrap it up after this one. How important is to set boundaries on social media? Meaning, how many hours should you spend on social media each day? Do you think you should set boundaries on that? And are there times in which you should not be on social media? You definitely know when you're at work, but
Well, at work, yes. I don't. I stay off my phone. That's why I'm always getting backlash about me not responding to texts and all that stuff. But I don't play on my phone at work. I leave it alone.
yeah.
I may check on it at lunchtime or in the morning before I start my day, but I stay off my phone for a reason. Because I don't want to get inundated in stuff that I'm seeing. When I get home, I spend maybe an hour or two, but then that's it. But that's also because I'm trying to open myself to get on social media even more. And it just all depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
For somebody their job is to promote and they got to spend more hours on there. So it just depends on what your life is. What are you doing? How are you marketing yourself? And how much time you're willing to put to market yourself in that way.
Yeah. So I think, and then listen, if you got I'm sure Android has it too, but there's the phones now come pretty popular with it'll tell you can set the boundaries, right? So I think that's important to do it.
She's trying to come at me on my Android phone again. It's the second time this week, y'all. Listen, look, I'm a proud Droid user.
And I'm tossed between the two, and I'm ready to go back to Android.
I heard that little, go ahead. Pretty little dig, but go ahead.
All I'm saying is, I'm pretty sure it has a feature. I'm pretty sure it has a feature where you can set the boundaries. Like you can set the timelines, and I think it's important because too much consumption of anything
is too much. It's not good for you.
Using the analogy of water, you even drink water too much. Something's gonna help. So too much of consumption of anything is not good for you. So you have to set the boundaries in place, and I think that's a good way to.
Boundaries in life are good. Period. Social media, people, whatever it is, all good.
Absolutely, and I love the way you say that. That's a great way to end it. Boundaries, even in social media.
Yep.
What you consume, what you put out there, all of it.
You don't like something, swipe.
Swipe, block, delete.
Swipe.
All the options are in your hands.
Exactly.
Till next time.
Till
Thanks
next
for tuning
time.
in.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.